Alrighty, everybody. Welcome into No Such Time in Maine. And boy, it's hot out. It's been hot out the past 2 days. Yesterday I did it outside, but today I'm just staying in. I haven't really done much anything. I feel like I've been like either, exhausting myself from the heat or not drinking enough water or something. So, I woke up this morning and I've had a little bit of a headache, but I'm feeling better now. So, but we're gonna read Ezekiel chapter 29 and 30. So let's just get into it. A prophecy against Egypt. Judgment on Pharaoh. Chapter 29. In the 10th year, in the 10th month, on the 12th day, the word of the Lord came to man. Son of man, set your face against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against all Egypt. Speak to him and say, This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Pharaoh, king of Egypt. You great monster lying among your streams. You say, The Nile belongs to me. I made it for myself. But I will put hooks in your jaws and make the fish of your stream stick to your scales. I will pull you out from among your streams with all the fish sticking to your scales. I will leave you in the desert, and you and all the fish of your streams will fall on the open field, and not be gathered or picked up. I will give you as food to the beasts of the earth and the birds of the sky. Then all who live in Egypt will know that I am the Lord. You have been a staff of reed of the people of Israel when they grasp you with their hands. You splintered, and you tore open their shoulders. When they leaned on you, you broke, and their backs were wrenched. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says: I will bring a sword against you, and kill both men and beast. Egypt will become a desolate wasteland. They will know that I am the Lord, because you said, The Nile is mine. I made it, therefore I am against you and your streams, and I will make the land of Egypt a ruin and desolate stream, a waste. From Migdol to Aswan, as far as the border of Cush, the foot of neither man nor beast will pass through it. No one will live there for 40 years. I will make the land of Egypt desolate among the devastated lands, and her cities will lie desolate 40 years among ruined cities. And I will disperse the Egyptians among the nations and scatter them through the countries. Yet this is what the sovereign Lord says. At the end of 40 years, I will gather the Egyptians from the nations where they were scattered. I will bring them back from captivity and return them to Upper Egypt, the land of their ancestry. They will be a lowly kingdom. It will be the lowliest of the kingdom and will never again exalt itself above the other nations. I will make it so weak that it will never again rule over the nations. Egypt will no longer be a source of confidence for the people of Israel, but will a reminder of their sin and turning to her for help. They will know that I am the sovereign Lord. Nebuchadnezzar's reward. In the 27th year, in the first month of the first day, the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, drove his army in a hard campaign against Tyre. Every head was rubbed bare, and every shoulder made raw. Yet he and his army got no reward from the campaign. He led against Tyre. Therefore this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am going to give Egypt to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he will carry off its wealth. He will loot and plunder the land as pay for his army. Plunder the land as pay for his army. I have given him Egypt as a reward for his efforts, because he and his army did it for me, declares the sovereign Lord. On that day I will make a horn for the Israelites, and will open your mouth among them. They will know that I am the Lord. So basically, uh he he was gonna curse Pharaoh, because Pharaoh had claimed that the Nile was him and he created it. But the Lord's like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to take pride in this something that you created, because I'm the actual one that created it. So the Lord got mad about that. And that's why he said he was going to curse everything right there. Take notice to how, like, when something great happens in your life, okay? If maybe you don't notice it, but like, let's just say something great happens in your life. Are you thanking the Lord for what happened to you and how you got there, and what it is that thing that you have? Because people forget to thank the Lord, and that's what this whole like section is actually about, thanking the Lord for where you came from. Don't be taking too much pride into something and then being like, yeah, I did this, and this is this is mine, and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Just stop taking pride in so many things, like, because that's another example of what he's talking about here, is taking pride too much into something and not giving no thanks to the Lord. Everything that happens in your life, from the moment you wake up to, let's just say, stuff that happens later on, you have to thank the Lord for what he gave you. Otherwise, you know, it wasn't just you that put yourself there. And that's why a lot of these people that get these great items, they never sit there and actually thank the Lord for what they had or anything like that. And it's unfortunate, because it's happened to me. You know, I guess there's times I pay too much attention to something, and then it just falls away from me, and that's just normal. That's why they say don't make things into an idol. Don't you know? Don't get too involved in like making things more important than what they need to be. Is pretty much what the message is here. So, and that's why he rewarded Nebuchadnezzar so handsomely, is because Nebuchadnezzar did things for the Lord, did things through the Lord. And that's why, even in the channel here, I've talked about it numerous times, and I still talk about it to this day. Everything I have done is through the Lord. And that's why I always get these incredible blessings. I have a lot of people, I have a lot of people viewing my stuff. I have a lot of people following my channels and stuff like that. And it's all because I put everything is done through the Lord. Everything, even till this point. You know, I would have never came to Texas if the Lord wasn't telling me to. I was afraid to do it before, but I got in an incident where, I was a lot of bad stuff just kept happening. It's like, okay, there has to be time to go. And I came to Texas because, you know, I I feel like there's something here for me. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I feel like there's a certain someone I'm supposed to meet eventually. I just don't know when. So, all right, let's get into chapter 30. All right. Chapter 30, a lament over Egypt. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, prophesy and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Wail and say, alas, for that day, for the day is near, the day of the Lord is near. A day of clouds, a time of doom for the nations. A sword will come against Egypt, and anguish will come upon Cush. When the slain fall in Egypt, her wealth will be carried away, and her foundation torn down. Cush and Libya and all Abraham, Cub and the people of the covenant land will fall by the sword along with Egypt. This is what the sovereign Lord says. Allies of Egypt will fall, and her proud strength will fail. From Migdal to Aswan, they will fall by the sword within her, declares the sovereign Lord. They will be desolate among the desolate lands, and their cities will lie. Among the ruined cities, they will know that I am the Lord. When I set fire to Egypt, and all her helpers are crushed, on that day, messengers will go out from me in ships to freighting, Cush out of her complacency. Anguish will take hold of them on the day of Egypt's doom, for it is sure to come. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I will put an end to the hordes of Egypt by the hands of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. He and his army, the most ruthless of nations, he will be brought and destroyed the land. They will draw their swords against Egypt and will fill the land with the slain. I will dry up the waters of the Nile and sell the land to an evil nation. By the hand of foreigners I will lay waste the land and everything in it. The Lord, I have spoken. I, the Lord, have spoken. This is what the sovereign Lord says. I will destroy idols and put an end to the images in Memphis. No longer will there be a prince in Egypt, and I will spread fear throughout the land. I will lay waste upper Egypt, set fire to Zoan, and inflict punishment on Thebes. I will pour out my wrath on the Pelusium, the stronghold of Egypt, and wipe out the hordes of the Thebes. I will set fire to Egypt. Pelusium will wither in agony. Thebes will be taken by storm. Memphis will be in constant distress. The young man of Heliophases and Budapest will fall by the sword, and the cities themselves will go into captivity. Dark will be the day of Tephanes when I break the yoke of Egypt. There her proud strength will come to an end. She will be covered with clouds, and her village will go into captivity. So I will inflict punishment on Egypt, and will know that I am the Lord. Pharaoh's arms are broken. In the 11th year, in the first month of the 7th day, the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, I have broken the arm of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. It has not been bound up to be healed or put in a splint, so that it may become strong enough to hold a sword. Therefore this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against Pharaoh of Egypt. I will break both arms, the good arm as well as the broken one, and make the sword fall from his hand. I will disperse the Egyptians among the nations and scatter them through the countries. I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon and put my sword in his hand. But I will break the arms of Pharaoh, and we will groan before him like a mortally wounded man. I will strengthen the arms of the king of Babylon, but the arm of Pharaoh will fall in. They will know that I am the Lord, when I put the sword into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he brandished it against Egypt. I will disperse the Egyptians among the nations and scatter them through the countries. They will know that I am the Lord. So again, right there, we just see that there's a lot of stuff going on in Egypt. He even states that he's not a fan of Pharaoh, and he's going to break both of his arms so he can't even pick up a sword. That just, that's an example of how mad the Lord is at him because he doesn't want him to use his arms. So, um, looking at everything is like he did not like Pharaoh one bit. And the reason he didn't like any of the pharaohs is because the pharaohs in Egypt, they were all using forms of paganism, you know? And, when it comes back to it, God was closely connected to Egypt, but there was a lot he didn't like about Egypt. So, just something to take into consideration. But, yeah, he was really, really unhappy in all this. And he said he went to set fire to Egypt. He went to set fire to another place. Just a lot of, like, really awful stuff. He was not happy. So, and that just goes to show you that, like, things you do in your own world, okay? Things you do in your own world and how you treat other human beings, or like, just not just treating other human beings, but like, are you really following what the Lord is telling you, or are you just doing it for show, or are you just not care? Because, at the end of the day, I look at it like this. A lot of these people that are involved in paganism, yes, they might have some sort of luck, but the luck eventually dies off, and then they don't, the Lord catches up to him, and he's like, hey, you know what? Enough of this. Time for you to be punished for using all this witchcraft, paganism, magic, and stuff like that. So it's just something to think about, And who knows, you could you could probably like see some sort of paganism going on in your daily life. I stopped wearing certain stuff, and I stopped listening to certain types of music and all that because I realized that there was a form of paganism behind it, and sometimes you need to be aware of it. So just be cautious of what you're like getting yourself involved into, because that can have the tendency of the Lord coming back and haunt you. And and sometimes, even if it looks like it's just timing, it still can be an example of what God does in perfect timing, So just remember, everything in life that's done and you do, and the outcomes you have, and like everything that goes on in life, that's the Lord doing stuff, And and that's one thing that I noticed about like a lot of people online and all that. They don't naturally follow what the Lord says. So if they don't, if you know, example, you have a group of people that just click together against you, and they don't really like you. That's them agreeing on something. That's not them following the Lord. Because most people that follow the Lord are usually ones that are out by themselves. They're usually separated from a bunch of like other people, so that way they're not getting, just take notice to who you're around, because most times you see the outcasts, and they're the people that are out there following God and stuff like that. No, not everybody, but like the people that, there are people that walk amongst themselves that usually do. They're very right with God, and they're very connected with the God. And that's the way I look at it. Most outcasts are like that. They are very connected with God, and you just have to keep your eye out for who is and who isn't. I can tell you right now, there's a group of people that are outcasts. I see them, they're outcasts, and I see them following God, and some of them, they don't exactly follow God, but they're still very connected with God because they're God's chosen people. I look at it this way. Outcasts are usually God's chosen people. He's usually separating them from, the curse that surrounds us, of people. So look at it that way. You know, it, more likely more likely when you see an outcast, they're the ones following God. They're the ones of God. They're the ones that are connected to God better than most people. So, and with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this. Until next time, I guess. I'll be uploading a short soon. But I'll see you in the next video. I don't know how long we got till we finish this out. Oh, okay. So we got we're at 32 right now. We have 48 chapters in this whole book. We got a little bit to go yet. But anyway, guys, take it easy. God bless you, and I'll be seeing you next time. Got some hiccups. Wow.